This is Rob the Witch from Canadian black metal band Necronomicon. You're listening to Bloodshed with Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Hi, Rob. Thank you very much for taking time out for this interview. It's a great honor to have you on the Bloodshed with the Vampire, and I want to welcome you back to Metal Messiah Radio International.
I'm always happy to do something with Metal Messiah Radio. Like I was telling you earlier, met some of you guys at NAMM in 2017 the last time, and been talking with Jet quite a few times, so always happy to be on Metal Messiah.
Thank you very much. You know, this is your home, Rob, and we are very pleased to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, a legendary grimoire Necronomicon formed in 1988 by you founding guitarist and vocalist Rob the Witch in the deep northern part of Canada, province of Quebec, Fjord of Saguenay. Since then, the band has carefully released each full length without haste, allowing it to be perfect every ounce before unleashing its sonic assault upon the masses. Rob, the band has so far released one demo, one EP, 5 full-length albums so far. I must say, Morbid Ritual, the demo in 1992, the Silver Key EP in 1996, Pharaoh of Gods debut album full-length in 1999, the Sacred Medicines full-length in 2003, the Return of the Witch full-length in 2010, Rise of the Elder in 2013, this full-length album, and the last one before the new one, Advent of a Human God full-length in 2016. And the upcoming new effort, UNUS, yet to be released on October 18, 2019. For all the new fans and people that do not know the band as yet, Rob, please tell us how was the band formed and what was the reason that you have decided to baptize the band with the name Necronomicon, and who has been the first band members, and do you still have contact with them? And tell me, why do you carry the nickname The Witch?
Okay, that's a lot of stuff to answer one shot, but yeah. First thing I need to correct you on the Morbid Ritual demo was in 91, actually. The thing that happened, a lot of people think it's in 92 and 1992 is because we've been, someone made like bootleg copies in 92, changed like what was written inside to have himself credit for that. He was doing like illegal copy and was selling it. There's some people who have the non-official tape from that era that's from 92, but the demo was done in 1991 actually, the original, the real one. That's a little thing that a lot of people don't know. If we go to the story of the band, I decided, actually the band had another name before, for maybe like a couple of weeks, maybe a month. And I always thought the name was really powerful name, but I wanted to have something darker. And at that time I was reading a lot of Lovecraft. I was really into Lovecraft and the Cthulhu mythos and stuff like that. And something that I always liked about the description of the Necronomicon, we're talking here about the real description of the Necronomicon and not the Evil Dead one. Because in Evil Dead, it's an evil book. But when you read Lovecraft, it's not necessarily an evil book. It's more something that's really like in a thin line and balance between good and evil. Because they explain how to contact the ancient ones, the old gods and stuff like that, but also how to protect yourself against negative entities and demons and stuff like that. And it's been interpreted as an evil book because they were saying the amount of knowledge in that book is so immense that you can go crazy. It's exactly what Lovecraft was saying about that book. So, and you have to remember that the story of the Necronomicon, how it been created and everything, and the context where you see of Lovecraft's story is in 1920s. Even today, if we look at things that are unknown, some people are always a little bit scared about the unknown. But back in the days, imagine there was barely anything that what we know today is like with science and everything. So people were even still really like believing and stuff. Who knew that we would be able to see, like, for you and me talk at thousands of miles of distance in between, you know, and we're talking in real time. Lovecraft was doing stuff like that with the creature from the Migo that were contacting between Pluto and the Earth, using the brain of someone putting in a casket, like with signals and through the dimensions. And that's science, you know. He was seeing that, like, he was bringing science to that level. So the Fungi Yugat, I should have said, not the Migo. All that stuff like that, Necronomicon is touching science, occult, and everything at the same time. He was doing that, and it's why it was seen as an evil book, because when you don't know, you're scared. A lot of people classifying things as evil. So I thought the book, the term Necronomicon was so powerful, but more than it was beyond the thing of like cataclysmic events or stuff like that, because it's a galactic view, it's a cosmic view of power and knowledge and unknown.
Do you still have contact with the first band members, and who were they?
They're unknown. No one knows them. You know, it's people who didn't do anything in music. They don't do music. And actually, I'm in contact with the first drummer that I started the idea of Necronomicon. Is still one of my best friends, because we were friends before that. We went to high school together, and he's my best friend. But he was with me, playing music with me, but he was not in the band when we were called Necronomicon, but when we had another name. He's still one of my friends, yes. But all the other members, not really, no. I mean, it's all people that disappeared somewhere. They probably have kids and all that, you know, dogs and mowing the lawns on the Sunday.
Still have to ask you, why the nickname, The Witch?
Okay, The Witch, that's a nickname that's been given to me when I moved from the north and I arrived in Montreal, because I'm someone who's been raised in a different way. My mom is a yoga master. Yoga these days, you see this yoga studio and stuff like that. But back in the days, it was really different. It was pretty underground. And my mom was studying the like Indian masters and stuff like that. And she was doing like her classes and stuff like that and teaching yoga. And she had like a really spiritual way. It's not like yoga like trend these days. It was more spiritual and stuff like that. My father was a painter, sculptor, and my parents divorced. My mom's remarried with a native shaman. So since I was a kid, I was raised in a really different way, you know, when we were celebrating solstice and having sacred fire and all that stuff. So I've always been practicing a lot and stuff like that. Not as much these days, because I'm super busy with the band and everything. So it's pretty hard to have time with it. And in the middle of a city like Montreal, it's pretty hard also. Yeah, there's some people that heard rumors and start say stories about seeing weird stuff around me. And one day I went to a party when there was like some people of the industry of the music and the underground and metal in Montreal, and some people that were starting to make fun of me and calling me a witch. And it's calling me, oh, look, the witch is here. Ha, ha, ha. And, you know, it really started like that. And my manager at the time, I was like, oh, my God, they're really making fun of me. I was like, fuck, that's not nice. And actually what happened is my manager said, no, it's fucking awesome. They call you the witch. Man. I mean, like, that's pretty badass. I was not really enthusiastic about it, but it's my manager, actually, at that time. They said, dude, we're going to call you like that. He said, you should keep that name, because it was going on, the witch. I said, fuck, just write it. We're going to write it. And that's how I started, as simple as that.
Yeah, so that's when your stage name born.
Yeah, it's exactly how it happens. I'd never give myself that name. I've been called many other kind of names, but that one sticks the most.
Yeah. Okay. Rob, Quebec death metal act and Necronomicon perfectly balanced atmospheric sound with crushing brutality on their 2006 album Advent of Human Gods, which was released on March 18, 2016 via Season of Mist. Again, what a great album that was, Rob. We are still enjoying it with tracks like Crown of Thorns, Advent of Human God, The Heart of Darkness, Unification of the Four Pillars, and more. You even have a cover of Celtic Frost on this album, Innocence and Wrath. Rob, it's been already 3 years since its release. Looking back, are you satisfied with this album? And you had a cover track of Celtic Frost on. Why was this idea to have added this song to the album?
Yeah, I've always been pretty much satisfied with that album. There's some stuff I would have done different at the time, but it would be super long to explain, so I'm not going there. I'm talking specifically about the recording.
Mm-hmm.
How it's been recorded. There was some stuff that we didn't have a choice at one point because like some issues happened with the studio. And actually, it's why we're not going to that studio anymore. And it's not professionals or whatever, but there's some problem, other kind of problem that happened. But beside that, everything went super well. It's really an album that I went way more how I wanted from a long time because I always restrained myself. And with Advent of the Human God, it's pretty much the first album that I really went out all the way to do exactly the way I wanted. And with UNUS, the new album, you hear it. I continue in that way, and I'm really comfortable with it. But with Advent, that's where, like I said, I felt like I did really exactly what I wanted. One of my album, almost 200%. As for the cover of Celtic Frost, a lot of people didn't get why I put that song because it's more like an intro. It's really short, and the reason is because when that cover is the opening of Into Megatherion album from 1985, it's because that album is one of the albums that that influenced me the most in my music. Celtic Frost came with orchestrals and ambience and all that stuff. Like you can easily see that kind of influence in Necronomicon because in all of our albums we always have like some atmospheres and intros and stuff like that, and that idea actually came from Celtic Frost. Exactly what I wanted to do as someone that's always been listening ambient music and classical music, and I wanted to incorporate that in my music. That was the first time I was hearing a metal band doing it with his, guitar, drums and everything, and adding like brass and like percussion, like orchestral percussion. And it's why I said, well, instead of doing like another song, whichever song from Celtic Frost, and I wrote to Tom Warrior and I asked him if I could do it. And he told me, he said, yeah, just do it. I mean, he said, totally sure. He's like, he was totally agreeing for me to do that song. So I said, well, I'll do it. I'll send it to you. And that was it. We just did it. And I'm really happy we did it because it's everyone, when they cover Celtic Frost, they do Circle of Tyrant or any Morbid Tales, any other songs. But I wanted to express myself by doing this, on making a statement that said, look, it's not Demu who started or whatever creator or whatever started to do like ambience and orchestral. That was these guys that my influence to do that in my band. It was exactly that band.
A very great cover done by you, man. Congratulations. I love it.
Yeah, it's really short and sweet. No vocal needed.
Rob, for this upcoming new album, UNUS, Rob, could you please present us the band current lineup?
Yeah, so about the current lineup. Actually, the current lineup is only me and Divider, my drummer. Since the departure of Mars, we've been hiring bass players, basically, because the post is not available or anything, but we haven't found someone who have it's not a matter of talent, it's just the dedication that a band like Necronomicon has for someone. It's extremely time consuming. Divider and I already put a lot of time in this. It's one of the reasons, because when we changed drummer, there's been around 20 people who wanted to pass auditions. That's a lot of people. And we were talking here about people from everywhere, from the States, from Sweden, from England. Some people say there's a guy who flew from England to pass the audition. A lot of people had talents. Others were okay, they were good, but not for what we needed to do. We had different vision. But it's not a matter of talent, it's a matter of dedication. Divider, fortunately, is coming from the north also. Fortunately, first is from here. He's living in Montreal. And I was not expecting that, because he's the last one to pass the audition and literally towered over the other ones as the attitude and how he was dedicated to his product. And Like I said, you need someone extremely dedicated to the band to be part of Necronomicon, because for me, first, it's a life project. I've been doing that all my life. I'm almost 50, and I started, I was 17. So that's something that I did all my entire life. So I can't be with someone that take that and just want to do like concert on the weekends or stuff like that. That's the only reason why we're two now. It's not because there's no place or whatever. Mars has been recurrently coming back for some on the road, in and out. And we have another one like called, we baptize him Rasputin, because he looked like a demented monk with like weird hair and beard, and he did like some concerts with us, and he's going to be on the next tour with us. It's a higher gun, but he's really comfortable with the band so far. So far it's going between Rasputin and Mars. For the moment, it's how we're working, but beside that, the permanent member, it's me and Divider, you know.
So both Rasputin and Mars are just, touring member, live member.
Yeah, for the moment, yeah.
Okay. Necronomicon recently received a special Canadian certificate of honor from HS production promoter Tommy Tremblay and the people of Seguney, Lac Saint John for their 31st year career. Tell us about this and how do you feel about it? And yes, nothing planned for this 31st years of the band's career existence?
Well, first thing first, we were kind of not expecting it and expecting it because there was rumors. But I was like, yeah, whatever, like laughing a little bit about it, you know, because I thought it was like kind of a joke. But I realized when we went there, we were invited to perform in the north and north region. And it was like, we didn't play that for 7 years. And we went there and actually there was a plaque, like it's a big plaque, metallic plaque, like to be put in probably the place I'm born. I was speechless. I was like, okay, that was serious. I mean, we were supposed to have like some people from like the city, the region there, like the politician, whatever, how you call it, like I'm not sure what's the name. I'm not really into politics, but it was supposed to be like, it was in the paper and TV and all that stuff. I was kind of like, I don't know, you're never ready for that, you know, especially if you do underground music. It's not like I didn't start at Necronomicon to try to be a rock star. I just do what I want to do because it's what I'm supposed to and meant to do. But it was kind of emotional a little bit. You're never ready for that. It's hard to react. I was kind of a little bit, I don't know, in between. Like, is it true? It's like, well, what the fuck is happening? Why? Okay. And of course, when I look back and looking, there's not much band that's been around for that long and never stopped. The only other band that received that something similar was Voivod. Even Voivod have not been, you know, they stopped for a while. And the difference between Necronomicon and Voivod is we never stopped. And okay, they've been there for like a couple, maybe 5 years more, but that's not the point. What I'm saying is just like...
Yeah, non-stop.
I'm not sure in metal who's been around for that long and never stopped. And I understand why I get that, but you're never ready for that. I never planned to have like, or imagine that I would receive something like that, you know?
Rob, but for the 30-year celebration, which was actually last year, or even for this year, do you plan to celebrate? I mean, 30 years, like you said, is not something that any band can accomplish. Do you plan to release any kind of special compilation or anything, any special party in the celebration of the band's 30 years?
Well, there's been a lot of things going on talking, because there's one album that's never been released. I literally dumped all the songs. Some people were saying we should have recorded. I have my reason why I dumped all these songs. I was in the middle of, at the end, it was before Pharaoh of Gods. There was supposed to be another album before that. And I dumped everything and I wrote Pharaoh of Gods instead, because like at the time there was... Myself at that time, I was not listening a lot of metal. Now I'm listening metal, but mostly like Judas Priest, Merciful Fate, you know, old stuff. But at that time, I was not listening any kind of metal at all. And I wrote that album at that time, and the people who heard the songs, they were starting to categorize, oh, it sounds like whatever, like Cannibal Corpse or Morbid Angel or this and that. And I was not used to have people comment, like passing comment like that on my music. So I didn't like it. So I literally dumped all the music. And after I wrote, Pharaoh of God, I noticed that everyone was doing the same. So I decided, well, okay, so that's how people seeing things. And now I understand that everyone do that in the metal community, and I never understood that. But there's people asking me, because I have this song somewhere on a cassette, practice. We were recording Practice Room, and there's a live album also that we recorded in the era of Secret Medicine. We're headlining. There's a festival that doesn't exist anymore. It's called Nightmare Festival. It was in Toronto, and we had a pro recording there live, and we were thinking doing something maybe with that, but it's all project it's in the air. We're not convinced. I'm not convinced to do anything. One thing we did, we released a special t-shirt. We have a special t-shirt, 30th anniversary of Necronomicon, with a unique design just for the 30th anniversary that is available on our merch store. And we're probably going to bring it in US also. But beside that, there's so much idea that's been pitched in and out. But in reaction of that, and I think you're the first person I'm going to tell, we have a video clip coming for one of the new song of UNUS. We did the video clip in the mentality of the 30th anniversary. So instead of doing like a video clip like typical Necronomicon, like we always do, like with our thematic, we did a Lovecraft thematic.
Very interesting, but it's very good, very good. The band third full-length album to be released via the French record label Season of Mist. Rob, is this a new album a part of a deal already done with Season of Mist record, or is this a new contract? And are you pleased with the label so far and want to continue working with them for future releases?
Actually, that's a really good question. No, it's not a new deal that we re-signed. It's part of the original deal. But that's something we need to talk actually with the label. We talked a little bit about what we're going to do after. So UNUS, and by the way, it's pronounced UNUS. Yeah, it's part of the actual deal that we had with Season of Mist. Everything's going to depend on how things goes, but it went pretty good enough so far. Of course, labels are labels. They always want more. That's record labels. They're telling you that it's not enough and this and that, of course, but they tell that to everyone. It's how it is. There's some stuff we're happy with. There's some stuff we're not happy with. With any record label, it's the same story. We were with Napalm Record before, and it was the same story. And we were with Unique Leader one time, and it was the same story. And Repulse Record, like in the 90s, and etc. And dealing with a label, it's always like a matter of like accepting stuff that you don't like and to compensate for stuff you want.
And you bond it with the rules, even if you like or not.
Well, depending. There's always stuff that's negotiable, but it's like everything you want to have like a little bit more, you're going to take something in the other side. So it's always like going like a balance.
Seeing your relationship, this is your third album with Season of Mist. Do you believe it's still worth a while to sit down, talk to them, and continue working with them?
I am going to be honest, I don't think too much about it right now. I'm more focused on what's coming ahead with UNUS, with tour and everything. So, of course, it's in the back of my mind. It's going to depend on how things are going to go this next year. Of course, it's a really well-known label. It really one of the best label of that size. Everything depends on how things. I'm not saying no and I'm not saying yes. Everything's going to depend on what's going to happen in the next year.
on this new album, UNUS, Heroines of a Demo Barger guest on the track From Ashes into Flesh. Can you tell us how this guest appearance came about?
Oh, there's no big secret. It's first thing, me and Selenos and Chagrat have been friends for around 20 years. The last time they came here was last year. They were coming for a festival, and the phone just rang in the morning, and I was like, what the hell is that? I thought it was a European number, and it was like Selenos, like, hey, witch, what the fuck are you doing? Blah, 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 ha, 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 you know. I was like, what? Why are you calling me there? Like, why you don't text me? He said, I'm in Montreal. He said, you want to come have a bite, have food, maybe a beer, whatever. And I was like, okay, well, where are you? And he gave me the address. It was 15-minute walk from my place, literally. There, sit down, Gerlios was there, and everyone. We just like chatty chat, and talking about this and that, and we were in the production of, we were working on UNUS, and it stays like that. It stayed like that, and when we were in studio, I said, okay, we need to do this. I feel like having a guest appearance like I did like in the previous albums, the two last albums. On Rise of the Other One, it was like GF-Neff from Cataclysm that was doing a guitar solo. On Advent of the Human God, I had like Jonathan from Blackguard from Canada. The band doesn't exist anymore, I think. That was playing keyboard. And now I said, I want to have like another of my friends. So, and it just popped in my head. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to write to fucking Gerlios. And I just wrote to him and I said, hey bro, you want to be on the album? I said, sure. And that was it. That was just that. I sent him the track. I said, I need something like this, that part. And he said, okay. He said, give me 2 days because I'm already like in studio doing some stuff. I said, yeah, send it to me. And I said, okay, that's perfect. And that was it. As simple as that.
Okay, the album, as I said, to be released on October 18, 2019, just a couple days before this release. Rob, don't you mind to present us the album tracking list, please?
UNUS actually is coming out in October 18 on Season of Mist record, of course. First track is From Ashes into Flesh. And it's something that's really, we wanted to start a little bit like at the beginning of Advent of the Human God, but on Advent on Your Human God, you have an intro that's almost a song by itself and come into the first song. This one is not really an intro. It's really a building part that is integrated, and it's a part of the song. It's not like there's an edit in between and you can play the song only without the intro and blah, blah, blah. This one is really into the song itself, and it's actually pretty intense. Infinitum Continuum, well, it's something that's more mid-tempo. Some people are gonna like it. I think some people won't like this one. It's more on the groovy. It's something that we were pretty happy to work, the orchestral part on it. It's pretty interesting. Paradise Lost, the first single, has been released. It's the fastest song we ever wrote. It's like literally at 300 BPM blast beat and full bass drums. Fortunately, I have a drummer that can do that stuff, like not easily, but he can manage to do it like without struggling too much. Price of a Soul is an instrumental that I had in my head for maybe 10 years, and I finally decided to do it. Singularis Dominus is the single that we released in the second part of like the trilogy, if I can say, of the single that we released. Singularis Dominus, well, it speaks for itself. It can be translated as being your own master. Of course, there's the Thousand Masks. The Thousand Masks is something that continues in the wave of Pharaoh of God, because it's chapter 3 of Pharaoh of God that started in 1999. There was Pharaoh of God, there was another one, and after there's a Thousand Masks that keep going. It's a big return on the mix of what we believe in the band, and also the lyrics can be interpreted in really Lovecraftian ways. This ascending the throne of Bahator. Oh, this one is really doom. It's one of the really atmospheric songs we did. The pace is super slow, super basic, with a lot of narration and hellish background sound. Fatan, that it's an anachronic language. That's ambience, really Lovecraftian. There's, of course, I read some first critics of the album to be released that people don't get that song because they didn't probably wrote the 4 notes, the Saint's Curse 2019. We re-recorded a song from our first album that was called Curse on Morbid Ritual on the first demo, in 1991, and we recorded with a modern sound. So it really doesn't sound modern at all. It sounds like all choppy, really squarish, death metal, death grindcore, whatever you call it. And finally, there's Vox Draconis. That's pretty much my favorite song on the album that closed the album. The final orchestral part is super intense. That song is more mid-tempo, a little bit like end of the 90s, like groove. It's hard to say, and there's the longest guitar solo that I ever composed. There's only 2 guitar solos on that album in total. One is really melodic and one is a little bit more shreddy. So that's UNUS.
A total playing time of 40 minutes and 10 seconds. Rob, thank you very much for describing the album Tracklist. I want to thank you once again, Rob, and John Asher for sending me the album MP3 file. And again, Rob, an awesome sound quality on this record, which was recorded at Silverwing Studio and mixed and mastered at Dark Matter Music. Could you please tell us about your recording and production process, and how has this process changed compared to the early releases?
Well, actually, we've been working with Silverwing Studio since with Advent of the Human God. Silverwing Studio was someone, the people there, well, the main guy there, is someone that usually was doing, I started to work with him because for the orchestral part, because he was used to work with video game music and movie music. What happened is they bought a new place and they went way bigger. They had a proper facility now to record proper drums, entire bands. Since I knew how to work with them, I just said, hey, would you mind if we do the entire album there? And they were super happy to have us to do the entire recording. So I was happy to do the entire thing there, since I know that these guys, how they were working, they were doing this, that, and we were getting along pretty well, the both of us. So we just did everything there. It went super fast. It went faster than usual. I'm super satisfied. Everyone that's around Montreal, they want to record with professional guy, I'm going to tell them to go Silverwing, because it's one of the best studios that I know and that I've worked with. Of course, for orchestral ambience also. What happened with the mix? I wanted to mix. I was thinking about maybe mixing at Silverwing, but I wanted to explore the possibility to work with people, that have a different aspect, that didn't see the recording and hear something different, have a different vision. On Advent of the Human God, we worked with GF Dagenais from at his studio in Dallas, GFD studio. We worked with him like a couple of times in the past, and we're always really happy with the sound and everything. But I wanted to, since UNUS the meaning of the entire concept of the album is like when everything's come in circle, you restart, but with the knowledge from your past, in short. I wanted to have a different approach. I have someone that have a more modern sound, have like a little bit, the idea that I had. And everywhere I was going, there was people pitching me names and this and that, but there was always something bringing me to Logan Matter. It's always you go somewhere, there's a song playing, it's like, oh my God, that sounds so fucking cool. And he said, yeah, that's who produced that? It's Logan Matter. And that happened like maybe 8 or 5 or 10 times actually. So I decided, I had a friend in Montreal that knew him. So she put me in contact with him, and the rest is a story. He said, yeah. He said, I'll do it, no problem. So went to Vegas, went there for a few days, and we mixed the album and mastered, and that was it. The rest is a story, like we said.
For this album, Rob, I must say, the minute I saw the artwork, I was convinced that there's going to be a hell of a music behind, since I believe that cover artwork do reflect on albums as well. I must say, a killer cover art created by Simon Bossert. Is this the first job, Rob, done by the band and Bossert? Was this artwork especially being created for the band? And if yes, where did Bossert got his inspiration to create this great cover artwork?
Actually, the artwork is a mix of 2 artists. Bossert made the composition of the album and the inside, but the actual cover, the dragons, the Necronomicon dragons, have been done by Nestor Avalos from Mexico.
Okay, I know him, yes. Great, guy doing artwork as well.
He's the one who drawn the Necronomicon dragons and Caduceus. He's the one who did that.
Okay.
When I saw this, I talked with him, I said, okay, that's our next album cover. but there was nothing else. There was just like white sheets with the dragons and Caduceus and everything. So I said, okay, we're going to work with it. And he was busy doing some stuff. And I knew that Simon Bossert in Germany, because actually he worked with us in the past. He did a lot of T-shirt model designs, and he did Return of the Witch cover. He did Rise of the Elder One album cover also. So I knew that guy understood how I was seeing things. So I sent him the dragons that Nestor did for us, and I said, I need this with this, and that. And he said, I know exactly where you're going. He built everything in 48 hours.
Wow.
From the dragons, Nestor Avalos artwork, he built the entire rest, adding the logo, everything in 48 hours. And the mix of these two artists, it's exactly what I was seeing was envisioned.
How was your reaction after seeing the end of this artwork?
I was laughing. I was laughing like almost like Dr. Evil, you know. It's amazing. I wanted to go like in a different direction than the previous 3 albums, because like Advent of Human God, I liked the album cover, but it's a painting. And the other one, but you know, everything was so big and so like detailed, and I wanted to go super basic, drawing, simple, to the point.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes with the title of the album. You know, it's a return, a new start, and a new beginning. You know, interpret it how you want. But I wanted to go to the opposite of the previous album, simple, basic, in the teeth. Right away.
What I can say that Simon Bossert, I don't know this guy. Now I got to know about him, but Nestor Avalos, he's a genius. He's a master, doing what he's doing.
It's exactly how most people call him, actually. He really is a master.
Yeah. Canadian black and death metal master Necronomicon has premiered a new song, The Thousand Masks. The track is taken from the band's upcoming album, UNUS, which will be released on October 18th. And the band has also released 2 other tracks before in promotion of this great new album. Track number 3, Paradise Lost, and track number 5, Singularis Dominus. Rob, we are approaching the release date of the album. Are there one more song or video to be premiered before the album comes out? And will there be an album release party?
There's no other song that would be like presented as single. These 3 songs are the 3 singles that we decided with the label that would be like presented to the media and to the public. But there's a video clip coming for the 1,000 Masks. I don't have a release date yet. The video clip is done. Everything is done. The label have it. We were not sure if we would release it at the same time that the single. We decided to release it after. We are not sure if it's going to be released just before the album is out or at the same time. We're still debating that at this very moment. The video clip is going in a different direction than what we used to do with Necronomicon. So instead of having like a typical thematic that we have, we decided to build the video as an homage for Lovecraft, because it's a video we did also for the 30th anniversary of Necronomicon, because since we decided to call the band Necronomicon, because it was Lovecraft, we decided to go on a Lovecraftian like thematic. Usually we would probably not do that, but we decided to do it. It's a way to celebrate our 30th anniversary or over, because it's 31 years now. So we did it in that spirit too. We didn't really plan a party or release or something like that. I'm not really fond of that. You know, we're just gonna go on the road and tour. If we do something, it's gonna be something by ourselves, just ourselves. But no, we don't have like a real party or a release party or anything. We did that in the past with success, with great success, but we haven't planned anything, for this one, no.
Okay, Rob, Necronomicon has, talking about tours, Necronomicon has announced North American tour dates in support of Suffocation and Belphegor. Rob, when will this tour begin, and for how long will it be, and will there only be touring with Suffocation and Belphegor?
So far, yes, we don't have we're working on other tour dates, but I can't talk about it right now. It's not fixed for what's happening in the future. The tour is starting October 23rd to November 24th, if I remember correctly. And actually, it's not North American, it's only US. There's no Canadian date or, Mexican date there.
Okay.
So it's only US, United States. Yeah, that's solid month just in US with Belphegor and Suffocation. There's other stuff I'm working on right now, but there's nothing like sure 100% that I can communicate, if I can say.
UNUS is a searing cacophony of blistering riffs, machine-like drums, and a symphonic ambience, culminating in a sound that calls to various metal icons such as Dimmu Borgir's Septic Flesh, Behemoth, and the Sight. The record combines the furious element of death metal with the orchestral prowess of black metal, creating the perfect synthesis of both genres. Standout tracks like Paradise Lost, Singularis, Demonus, and the Thousand Masks so far released. Rob, my last question, in how many formats will UNUS be available, and are there merchandises of this new album already available to buy for the die-hard metal fans, and what else will the band be doing in 2020 in support of this great new album, UNUS?
There's no merch available at the moment. Everything is being supervised, if I can say it at this moment. Of course, we will have merch on the next tour. As the format, of course, is going to be digital, like everyone's doing these days. We're going to have CDs, and for the first time, yes, we're going to have vinyls.
That's great. And how many colors, how many quantities?
That's all stuff that I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, but I know that UNUS is going to be on vinyl. It's already in pressing and all that. I'm supposed to have my copy actually this week. Fortunately, I hope I'm going to have it this week. Beside that, when everything's going to be ready, we're going to come on the media with it. But at this moment, it's all I can say. It's there's nothing available at this moment, a shirt on anything, but everything is coming, yes.
Okay. How about 2020? What will the band be doing?
We're working on now, and we're going to work this month and next month to see what we're going for 2020. Of course, we want to go on tour again. So we decided that next year we need to go back in Europe because it's been a while we didn't play Europe. I don't know how it's going to go, but that's all stuff that's been put on paper already that we need to work on this next 2 months for probably spring or summer. And of course, we want to go back in US.
I hope to see you guys, especially for the summer festivals in Europe.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That's something we need to work on. And also, that's really important. One thing that's really important, we need to do a Canadian tour because we haven't played Canada too much. We played a little bit this year, but just in Ontario and Quebec province. But we were supposed to a full Canadian tour. But with the Suffocation tour we've been offered, for us it was a better opportunity. So we had to put that aside. But a lot of people in Canada are asking us to do a full Canadian tour because we try to do every 2 or 3 years. It's important because it's really hard to tour Canada, but the fan deserve it. But we decided we have to go back in Europe. We haven't been in Europe in a really long time, right? I think 5 years or something.
Rob, I want to thank you very much once again to have made this interview possible. And I want to hand you over the microphone of Metal Messiah Radio for you to invite all your friends, the fans, to support the bands, to buy the band's 6th full-length brand new masterpiece, UNUS, and to buy the band's earlier albums as well. And yes, merchandises as soon as they are available. Please check the band's schedule and come to support the band live at one of dates and places that we just mentioned. The microphone is all yours, Rob.
So I invite you to visit us on Facebook at Necronomicon Metal, also on Instagram Necronomicon-CA. Just feel free to just like the page, watch the store, the merch store if you feel like it. Thanks for supporting us. This is Rob the Witch, Necronomicon Canada. Keep it the horn high. Thank you very much.
Rob, I wish you all the best once again with Necronomicon and the new album UNUS. Say hello to the guys from here. I mean, Divider still. Say hello to Rasputin and Mars. And, like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bro. It's all cool.
Okay.